freedom, freedom over fame, freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives, and I'm your host, Bruce Anthony. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts and video podcasts. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and rate us. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at unsolicited_perspectives. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at unsolicited_PER. Watch us live. Now, watch us live every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. Our audience continues to grow with each and every episode, and I humbly thank you.
On today's episode, we're shooting the breeze, recapping the 50th episode. Then we're going to be talking about Ken Paxton and his whole controversy. And then we're talking phobias. But first things first. What up, sis?
What up, brother? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Just still a little bit congested, but other than that, I'm feeling fine. How about yourself?
I can't complain. How you feeling after the episode de vulnerabilité?
Look, let me just tell you, the feedback I got, people were like, that was a great episode and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's cool. And then one person who I speak to off and on, somebody that I used to hang out with back in the day, but speak to off and on. And she was like, that was really cool. You open up and being vulnerable. You should do that more often. And I was like, that was a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
If
you didn't get every question answered during that podcast, then you will never get him. He'll take it to the grave, ladies and gentlemen.
One and done.
That's it. You're lucky y'all got his birthday.
Y'all would not have gotten my birthday if my sister didn't put it out there.
Well, we had to start from the beginning.
No, we actually did not have to start with my actual birth date. Now people are going to be sending me, you know what? Let me just put it out there. On my birthday, I don't really need to do text or anything like that. If you just want to wish me a happy birthday before or after, fine. But the day of, like, I don't really need that. Like,
what is your aversion to being wished a happy birthday?
Look, we did the vulnerability episode last episode.
So now that means, ladies and gentlemen, I can never ask my brother a question ever again. All questions, all bets are off. I can only make statements, and that's it. And he'll either confirm or deny these statements. But that's never ask him a question again.
I did it on the 50th episode. That's it.
That's it.
That's what y'all got. I wanted to know about. Nope.
Now you'll never know.
The feedback has been like pretty cool, pretty positive. So
I got some text from family members who said it was a really great episode. Our mother said that she did not cry. We alleged that she would cry.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, she said she didn't, but she did get emotional. The main feedback was she didn't know we saw her that way as a role model for hard work and things like that. She just said that she always just wanted to be an example for her children. And I'm like, there's a lot of parents that don't think that way. They think they put a roof over your head, food in your belly, clothes on your back. That's it. They don't have to be an example. And I'm like, you chose to be an example. So that's not, we had a lot of friends who had parents who were not an example.
Right. Mom a trip. I swear, Mom, I love you to death, but you a trip. I literally have told her this before. Like every Mother's Day or birthday, like if you've saved any of the cards I've ever given you, oh, by the way, your Mother's Day card is still on the counter. I forgot to give it to you to take back to Mom when you came to visit me that day. It's still here. But all those cards always say the same thing, like you're an inspiration and a role model. Mom is just, good God. But you know what? It's not just us, because her sisters will tell her the same thing.
Yeah.
And one particular aunt who, I'm very, very close with, talks about how much she admires and looks up to Mom. And I tell Mom that, I was like, Aunt, said this and this about you. Really? She feel that way? I was like, she's told you I've been there. So mom just be a blip.
She is kind of, the mom is, she live on her own planet.
Right. But
Yeah.
mom is also not the crier.
Yeah.
Dad is the crier.
Yeah.
Like mom is not, when's the last time mom doesn't do tears of joy?
No, not really.
Yeah,
No.
mom don't really do tears of joy. Mom don't really do tears of joy. That's not her
No.
thing.
That's not really. No. It's just sadness, frustration, anger. Those are the tears you get out of mom. So if you say something wonderful or just a lovely sentiment, she'll be like, "Oh,
That's
nice."
nice.
She'll move on with her life.
I had an interesting conversation with Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he talked about the Game Boy, and he was like, yeah, I wasn't going to get you that Game Boy anyway. And I was like, well, when you said you was going to do it, and he was like, no, it really pissed me off that you was outside. It was the football game and the grades.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you were going through the motions in the football game. And then all of a sudden, he said to me, hey, I'll get you a Game Boy if you go out there and make a certain amount of tackles. And he said, my face lit up. And I was like, you will? You promise? And he was like, yeah, I'll get you Game Boys. Go out there and get some tackles. And then as I'm in the game, the very next play, I go out and I make a big tackle.
Yeah.
And I yell to him from the sideline, that's one. That's one. So I was counting them. And he tells a story that he was just like, see, you could have done that the whole time, but you just didn't do it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's me in my life. Like, unless I set a goal or unless somebody challenges me, I'm going through the motions. And he's like, and I was like, that's not really you. He's like, no, that's your mom. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you got that from your mom. I was like, yeah, because Dad, you're kind of like naturally driven. He's like, yeah, but your mom, when you say she can't do something or you challenge her in any type of way, that woman like supersedes all expectations. That's you. You got that from your mom.
Yeah,
and
I got that
okay.
too. I won't do. That's a classic story of. I was in middle school and I was in an honors history class, and I made C's for the first 3 quarters. Okay, and the teacher pulled me aside and she was like, I think maybe this class is too advanced for you.
Mm-hmm.
She really shouldn't have said that to me because with barely any additional effort, I got a C I got an A for the 4th quarter. And she called home, cussed me out on my home phone. You could have done this the entire time. You barely put forth any effort and you got an A. You could have had an A that said, I need to speak to your parents. And she spoke to mom and dad. I think she spoke to Dad. And they were like, yeah, that sounds about right. Don't tell me I don't belong in this class. I belong in this class. You know how much effort you have to put in to get a perfect 70 for 3 quarters? I have to intentionally get questions wrong so that I have a perfect C for 3 quarters. I knew what I was doing. I knew that middle school doesn't matter in the rest of your life.
Don't say that to the kids out there, but it don't matter.
Hey, if there's kids listening to the show, first of all,
you're not supposed to be.
You're not supposed to be. But also, if there are, middle school doesn't matter.
But that's like, you probably didn't watch the documentary The Last Dance, but I know that you've seen the memes where Michael was like, and then I took that personally. So that's us.
I definitely saw the SNL sketch.
Yes. And so, but the SNL sketch wasn't that far-fetched. I mean, obviously the histrionics of losing the pants and everything, but that wasn't that far-fetched from the actual documentary.
Yes.
So that's us. Challenge us about something. And then that's when we take it personally. My closest friend swears up and down I'm not that good in basketball. He's just like, you're not as good at basketball as you say. And that's because when I got to him, I was going through the motions. Either I wasn't going to Saturday practice. I did not go to Saturday morning practices at all. I would go through the morning, go through the motions and practices all the time. And during a summer league season, like I got sick, so I missed a practice and I got benched. And I remember at lunch one day, he was like, we were all joking on one another, and he was like, I don't know what you laughing at. That's the reason why I got your position.
You shouldn't have done that.
The inner anger and fire,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do nothing because everybody was kind of laughing,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to swing on him, but that's my friend. I can't swing on him.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you. So the very next practice, he says, oh, this is the greatest day the Bruce's ever had. Like the God must have blessed him or something like that. I torched him.
Yeah.
I mean, I destroyed him. And he was like, no, that was just a good day. I was like, no, that was me like playing like when I'm challenged. Like this is actually how good I am. No, I don't believe that. I was like, well, you challenged me. You won. And then guess what? I got my position back that very day, that very practice. And even his dad was the coach. And his dad was like, you kicked your ass.
Yeah, don't make me care. Don't make me care.
Don't
because
make me care.
If I care, boy, oh boy, you're going to wish I didn't.
Right.
Because don't make me care. That's why I feel like we operate at a lower level or go through the motions just to make the people around us more comfortable.
I don't.
I do.
Okay, I think that's your ego talking. Okay.
I do that because I am extraordinary. So
I go through the motions because I'm lazy.
That too. Boy, I am lazy.
But we're not, because when it matters to us, we grind. Like I will never forget the story that you told me when you did your student film and the work that you put in for all of that. And I was like, yo, JB grinding.
Yeah.
I tell you who is not lazy is
our
our brother.
Yeah, our brother. Yeah.
He's
got dad's drive. Yeah.
He got dad's drive. That
no, let me tell you, that boy works.
No, he works, but he'll also go through the motions as well.
On again, there's things he doesn't care about, but I mean, he doesn't need to be challenged by somebody else to have the drive to succeed or to do well. I need to be challenged by somebody else. You literally have to tell me you don't think I'm capable of something.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, okay. Well, I'll show you with minimal effort.
Sometimes it'll be maximum effort if you really, really piss me off.
I don't think I've ever worked to my full capacity.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I've never really had to. I'm sure that'll
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all are now seeing my sister's ego. It's massive. It's y'all are now seeing her for who I know her to be.
I am self-aware
of how big your ego is.
No, I don't have a big ego. I think I'm confident. I toot my own horn because listen, if I don't do it, nobody else will. That's
not true. I toot your horn all the time. I'm always talking about how exceptional you are.
But you have to advocate for yourself in life. Nobody is just gonna. People will look at your talent and they'll abuse it or exploit it before they will shout you out. So I shout myself out because who else is gonna do it?
Yeah, I definitely exploit your talent.
Yeah, you do. On a daily basis. At least weekly.
It's a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis, I exploit your talent.
Yeah, you do. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's because I know, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting you behind the camera, behind the curtain. I know how talented my sister is. Out of the 3 siblings, she has the biggest, the highest capacity. Her star will shine brighter than all of us. And I think all of us are really talented. The thing that y'all don't get, and he's not going to come on here, so y'all can forget about it. But our brother might be the funniest one out of all of us.
Yes.
He is.
I threw a book at him yesterday. He made me laugh so hard.
He is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like straight up hilarious. And like
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I have to monitor my blood pressure. And so I was taking my blood pressure and it was extremely low.
Okay.
And he said, this is your blood pressure. And he just kind of meandered into my room a little bit, checking out things, looking at stuff real slowly. And I threw a book at him.
He's an idiot. But you had the greatest capacity to like be a star because you're more talented than both of us because you have an ability to do. You're very good or great at a lot of things.
Yeah, Dad called me a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Except for making a decision. That's the only thing that you lack in life is making a decision.
I make decisions too quickly. I have impulse control issues. That's what my therapist says.
Not when it comes to your art.
Oh, yeah, because I never like to release my stuff.
Yeah,
No,
not when it comes to your creative process. All right, that's enough of us going on and on about ourselves.
I mean, what the point? What else is the point of this podcast? Is not to
the
go
podcast is to give our perspectives on different stuff, and our perspectives can't always be about ourselves, even though people like it. People enjoy when we talk about ourselves. I don't know why.
I really don't.
I don't know why.
We're just two regular schmucks.
Well, I will say we're not regular because some of y'all people out there, I will say the general population is not funny and damn sure not smart, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So we are above average in both of those categories. That's the reason why people listen to us and watch us. It's because we're above average. Are we extraordinary? I don't know yet. Maybe. But we're definitely above average.
Yeah.
We're trending at a B as far as smart, intelligence, and humor. Because some of these people out here real corny and dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to serious / funny topics, and that's my man Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is a Republican attorney general in Texas. He's been the attorney general since 2015. He's been under indictment for securities fraud since 2015. He's been under an FBI investigation for bribery and abuse of office since 2020. The bribery and abuse of office allegations stem from his relationship with this guy called Nate Paul. Nate Paul is a real estate developer and a political donor who is also under federal FBI investigation for fraud and money laundering. Paxton, he's actually accused of using his office to benefit Paul in a variety of ways, such as intervening in a legal dispute. Yeah, the Attorney General of Texas intervened on behalf of this man who's a political donor, probably giving him a lot of money, on any legal disputes that he had, right? He ordered investigations into Paul's enemies. That means he was his personal henchman. Think Michael Cohen for Trump, right? The only problem is Michael Cohen was a personal attorney. This guy is the Attorney General of Texas.
Yeah.
He's elected.
Yeah.
The Attorney General. And he's also intervened. He also hired an outside lawyer to oversee an investigation, which is an improper authorization. Things got so bad for Paxton that 8 of his aides, under the whistleblower lawsuit, went to the FBI in 2020 and reported them. How did Paxton respond to that? He fired them. He fired him. All right. So all this stuff that he's been going on, the Congress in Texas, which is a Republican-led supermajority in Texas, decided to impeach him. So in May, last month, the House General Investigation Committee revealed that it was investigating Paxton for a year-long pattern of misconduct and questionable actions that include bribery, dereliction of duty, and obstruction of justice. These are like real offenses.
Yeah.
The committee unveiled 20 articles of impeachment against Paxton on May 25th, 2023, detailing various charges and evidence against him. On the 27th, just 2 days later, the Texas House voted overwhelmingly to impeach Paxton, suspending him from office over the allegations. The votes were 121 to 23, with 60 Republicans joining all Democrats in favor of impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
Now his impeachment moves to the Texas Senate, which, by the way, his wife is a senator in Texas.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting, where he's going to be on trial and the House members will be basically the lawyers or the prosecutors going against Paxton. And they need 2/3 of the senators to vote in order to expel him from office. But right now he's suspended from any of his office duties. His main man, former President Trump, came out and supported him with saying, hey, we gotta, this is a witch hunt. Key word here.
Yeah.
Witch hunt. Paxton even used that word. Same word that Santos used. It's like everything's a witch hunt right now. But that's what's going on. And the crazy thing about it is the Republicans was like, nah, you got to go.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think it's. I think it's a litmus test for like, okay, where's the line? One, this is Texas, and these are Texas Republicans. I mean, if you were going to test out where's the line as far as like impropriety and just crimes are concerned, where Republicans will say, finally, okay, all right, this is a little much. We gotta say something. We gotta do something at this point. I mean, this is a Trump-backed Republican who is so bad at crimes that even other Republicans are like, we don't love this, but you got to go, baby. Like,
well, part of it, if I remember correctly, and I don't have it right in front of me, part of his bribery was he was going to use funds that needed to get approved by Congress. So his actions was going to rope in some of those representatives. And they was like, oh, hell no. They was like, look, man, hey, look, we don't mind you suing Biden over his policies because he's one of the main litigators on his suing Biden. And that's another reason why he's saying, y'all can't take me out. I'm suing Biden on behalf of y'all. But even these Republicans was like, look, we can't rock with you on this one. And Trump couldn't. I don't know if Trump can save him yet. We'll see in the Senate hearing. But I wonder if his wife is going to recuse herself, because how could she be impartial?
It's a definite conflict of interest. Yeah, I think that she should. To date, I don't think she has recused herself, but I mean, that's a severe conflict of interest. But you got a husband who one Republican lawmaker said on the House floor that he called members and threatened them political consequences in their next election if they voted to impeach. So when
they were on the floor voting, he was calling them and be like, yo, I'm going to get you if you do this to me.
So to me, it's not that far-fetched that she would risk, just like the optics of impropriety. Well, not really. It's definitely a conflict of interest. He's her husband. To participate in the vote. I mean, it seemed like they're just a scam couple then.
But here's the thing. He's an elected official, right? There's been multiple elections that I think he's been elected 3 times since 2015. He's been under investigation from 2015. 2020 is when the FBI entered into the situation. We knew this during the lawsuits that Texas was filing during the 2020 election that, former president said was stolen, which was not stolen. You lost, bro.
You lost, bro.
But he was under investigation then.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, you can blame down ballot voting for that.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. And I'll admit I'm a victim of that too. I think you ride with your political party. I don't know that I've ever gone on my ballot and there's been a mixture of different candidates. It's like, what do you label yourself as? That's who I am. I'm just going to vote for you. Because you go into these local elections, most of the time you walk in and let's say there's and sadly, I mostly only vote for federal elections. I don't vote for the state elections unless state election and the federal election coincide at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you just vote down ballot, not knowing what their policies are. So
Yeah.
I'm ignorant of that too. I'm not going to blame. I guess I can't blame those people because I would be a hypocrite.
Sure you can.
No, that
You
I
just
don't want
be
to
a
be a
hypocrite.
hypocrite.
Well,
Nah, I don't want to live that life. I don't like hypocrites. Don't want to be a hypocrite. That's just
I'm gonna blame it. I'm blame down ballot voting. If you
but
won't do it, I'll do it.
I
Down
mean, but
ballot voting, yes.
that seems that is the case. But also, Ken Paxton, he just has an untrustworthy face.
He
Like
really does.
he
I
just.
looked at his, yes, I agree. 110%. It's something about the lazy eye and
I'm
the
not.
wandering eye. It's both. He's got
I,
both, which
I
means
don't want to. I don't want to attack
can't.
people that have lazy or wandering eyes.
He has one lazy, one wandering. So it's like he's never looking you in the eye. You know what I'm saying? Where you could get a sense of like,
He's like Steve Buscemi's character and Mr. Deeds.
yeah, he's just always looking around, and you're like, oh well, he can't help it. He can't help that. Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I muted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
I
muted it.
mean, the people can still see it.
They can see it on the video, but they can't
Yeah.
see it on the. I mean, anybody listening to the audio, I just muted my cough,
Yeah.
but you damn sure just called me out for it.
I'm just checking and making sure you're all right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I told you I was sick.
We'll take a sip of water. Take a sip of water.
I've been drinking all my water, and we still got another segment to go in this. But let's get back to the subject at hand.
Yeah,
he looks like a Bond villain.
yeah, he looks very shifty. He's just missing a scar down his face.
That's
He's just missing a scar down his face.
The policies and the things that he does are just hateful.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hateful human being. Okay, let me rephrase that. He shows the characteristics of being a hateful individual. I can't say he's a hateful individual because that makes me liable. So he shows the characteristics of being a hateful individual. And you can tell by everybody knows my stance on abortion rights, the LGBTQ plus community. You know my stance on these things. He is against absolutely everything that I stand for, that I feel is just human decency. It feels like he's showing the characteristics of a person who does not care about other people unless it benefits him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And I don't know what's going to happen in this situation, but this is positive that people in the Republican Party are starting to be like, you know what? Some of y'all got to go.
Yeah.
The House, the budget and the budget and the debt ceiling was just passed, despite the fact that there were people on both sides that were against this bill. And, that gives me, happiness that hey, maybe we're moving in the right direction. The Proud Boy man got locked up no, he wasn't Proud Boys. He was freedom fighters, not freedom fighters. One of the guys that stormed the office, I forgot which one he was, which group he's in. He's in one of those white supremacist groups. They all run the same to me.
Proud Boys.
No, I don't think he was. Was he a Proud Boy? Well, he got 18 years.
Listen, the Klan.
Yeah, no, the white supremacists. I mean, the white supremacists. That's what it is.
You can call these offshoots whatever you want, but that's because everybody's trying to shy away from Ku Klux Klan. Nobody likes that. But let me tell you, that was some effective marketing and branding they had. The KKK, they had the little outfits. I mean,
you mean a white cloth?
Yeah, but I mean, it's better than them Target khakis and polos. Like, y'all look stupid.
See, the Klan hid themselves, but were there, and you knew who they were.
They hid themselves with flair.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
These new groups, like, they're out there, but they not visible out
It's
there.
not intimidating whatsoever.
Well, no, it's definitely not intimidating whatsoever. Well, them white sheets ain't intimidating unless
That
you're Chef from South Park.
when you saw a bunch of them with the little pointy hats and their little patches, their little Girl Scout patches and everything on, and actually no, sorry to the Girl Scouts, but they little patches on,
They threw the Girl Scouts under the bus.
and they were riding on their horses and stuff like that. That was intimidating.
Maybe in the the late 1800s and early 1900s. But what's
Yeah, but I mean
intimidating to me,
before assault rifles. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
well, what's intimidating to me were the neo-Nazis. Once you started shaving your head and putting tattoos everywhere,
Let me tell you how much I don't like being around a bald white man. And I don't care if it's alopecia. I don't like it.
and the only bald white man that gets a pass is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's literally the only one. There's
That's
no others.
and
And
Kojak.
even
Kojak.
oh well, yeah, Kojak. But I gotta see a lollipop or something.
Wait a minute, who had a lollipop? Who was a
Kojak.
bald? Oh, okay, Kojak.
Yeah.
Well, no, because what's his name? That was in Saturday Night Fever and Look Who's Talking and Grease. John Travolta.
He'll put a wig on. He'll put a
But
wig on in the New York Minute.
but he's had some movies that he's done bald headed and with a goatee, and I'm just like, nah.
I don't know. A bald Italian doesn't nah. Now if you a bald like Irishman or just like
Hold on. Don't be giving Italians pass. And my
no,
bestie is
because they do
Italian. And
love saying the
I love,
N-word. They
yeah,
love it.
yeah. I love Italian people and Italian culture.
Mhm.
But also, there was a situation in Bensonhurst in the 80s where they killed a black kid just for being in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
So just because he's Italian, bald head. But Edward Norton is the reason why them skinheads scare me to death. When he did the curb stomp on my man, he said, "Put your teeth on the curb." I'm like, "Nah, you're gonna have to shoot me. I ain't gonna put my teeth on the curb."
I mean, but the American History X just so annoying to me because it's
Why?
always black people always got to come in and literally save your life before you will give us any kind of respect for our humanity. Like
Well,
we literally have to come in and rescue you from your own people. And look out for you at the expense of our own selves before you will give us any kind of respect. And then it'll still be so half-hearted.
well, I say, me and you always disagree on this, but I say it is our responsibility to show people that the propagandist stereotypes
Mhm.
sometimes are true, but are generally not true.
Yes.
And like, you don't know these things unless you interact with these people. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how many Italian people I knew growing up. Not a lot. The only Italian references I had were television and media. Everybody was the mafia. That's not Italian American culture. Not at all. So, but you wouldn't know that unless you interact with Italian Americans.
Yeah,
So,
but again, that's not on them. That's on the people who you need to reach out to that community to learn about that community. If you realize that you have some sort of blind spot or bias.
it's a blind spot. So you don't realize that you have it until it's pointed out.
Yeah, but I just don't feel like the responsibility should be on the person.
The responsibility is on both people, but you
Right.
have to show them you have to show people where their blind spot is. You did it for me. When we talked about in the 50th episode, you've been one of the influences in my life that helped with this evolution of me trying to be less and less misogynist.
Yeah.
It's you and like my college friends. I'm gonna shout y'all out by name. Jen doesn't talk to me anymore, but that's okay. Megan, right? Then as I got older, there was Jessica, and then there's my bestie Ashley, right? And then it's my friend Alex now, who, like, these women are constantly challenging my thinking and interpretation on things.
Yeah, it's exhausting. And let me tell you something.
What's exhausting?
And let me tell you something though, but you're my brother who I love.
Right.
If it's just a random racist on the street, I'm not expending any energy on this person to try to change their mind.
Well,
It's like the bots that get in the comments. Like I'm not
but those
expending.
aren't. But those are. We have gone on a tangent. We were talking about Ken Paxton, and we have
Oh
gone
yeah.
on a tangent. But the bots are different. Those are when we said there was Russian influence. I'm seeing it firsthand. The outside influences. These aren't. It's not. Some of it is absolutely real American people, but a lot of
Yeah.
this is outside influences because the things that they're saying are literally to try and make you angry.
Hmm.
It's literally set to drive division, and they're doing an excellent job at it. But I would just say, to comment on what you just said, people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So that person that is a racist, if they've never had any interaction with other minorities and the only thing that they see is the propaganda stuff that's on television and in the news, my decency can show them, hey, look, that's all lies, right? This is who we are. Take it or leave it. I don't have to get into some long philosophical debate or conversation with them,
Mm.
but I can genuinely just be, if somebody comes up to me and they say, hey, I don't know much about the Black experience. What books can I read? Okay, you want to learn?
I
Here's some
would
books that you can read.
love to point you to some literature.
Yeah, here's some books that you can read,
Yeah.
right? Or if they're like, I don't know much about Black culture, what can I do? Here's some books, here's some information. Go and digest this. But a lot of this stuff people aren't learning in school. Hell, we didn't learn about all the massacres that were going on in this country after the Civil War towards Black people.
No.
I didn't learn about the Tulsa massacre until I took an African American studies course in college. And when I was learning about it, I was like, nah, this isn't real. This didn't really happen. Nah, no, no, no. I would have heard about this before. No, it was real. And there are way more cases out there. But that was a long tangent. Ken Paxton, your ass is going down.
All the way down, down like that lazy eye.
All right, sis, let's get to something that I found was interesting.
Mhm.
I always knew people had different type of phobias.
Right.
Some of these phobias, I'm not going to say weird. I don't like calling things weird or
No.
different. I'll say unique.
They're unusual. They're uncommon, but
Unique.
they're unique.
Yes.
And I think one article I read put them as irrational, but I mean I think all phobias are based in there's some sort of trauma or something there around the phobia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't think any phobia is wholly irrational. So I don't like that characterization any either. But yeah, unique, different. You sent me some interesting ones, and
Which
then I
one's
looked.
interested you?
Well, the arachibutyrophobia. I
Yeah,
don't know how to pronounce that.
that's the reason why I said what was interesting to you, because you know damn well I was going to mess up that enunciation.
Yeah. And that's a fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Uh-huh.
I mean, where the heck does that come from?
Well, so they say the exact causes are unclear, but experts
Mhm.
believe they involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Some
Well,
people.
and I read something else that said it's like a fear of choking or
Mhm.
a fear of some sticky in your mouth. And I'm like, okay, that seems reasonable. Cause peanut butter in your mouth, there's sometimes a little bit where you panic a little bit. You get a little too much. I know I've had that experience. A little too much peanut butter. Get a glob of peanut butter. You be like, and you panic just a little
I
bit.
I don't think I panic, but these phobias absolutely, they say the symptoms, and the symptoms they say are physical and physiological, and they
Mhm.
and chest tightness, difficulty breathing, dizziness, nausea.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like a panic attack.
Yes.
Like these phobias cause panic attack, and a lot of these phobias that are unique. because there's a phobia that you're afraid of knees. Um, I'm not going to be able to enunciate this one correctly. Genuphobia. Genuphobia is the specific phobia that involves irrational or excessive fear of knees or kneeling. And I
Yeah.
was like, you got a fear of knees or kneeling? And then they say one of the causes is another thing, a fear of choking. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. It seems like a lot of these phobias come with a fear of choking. And I don't know where this fear of choking comes from, but I ain't never really had no fear of choking. Not really. And I live by myself.
No, that's real. When Liz Lemon was talking about, when they said, what was it? Somebody said, you're a single person living alone. The biggest fear is choking
Liz
because,
Lemon is a character on 30 Rock for those people that don't know.
oh yes, sorry. If you haven't seen at least one episode of 30 Rock, like where were you in the early 2000s? But mid
It's Tina
2000s.
Fey, who I used to have a huge crush on, and I had a crush on her because she's so funny.
Yeah, she's very funny, extremely funny. One of my favorite prior cast members on SNL. But no, that's a real fear. You got to learn how to throw yourself over that chair because there's nobody there to pat you on the back or Heimlich you. You got to Heimlich yourself. That's a fear of choking, especially being single. I
Or
think that's
not
a
even,
real thing. And that's a
or
real
living
thing.
by yourself, or
Living
living
by
by yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
I, I, I just that I remember that episode, and then I thought to myself, that is interesting because I do live with myself, and that could happen. But I still don't ever think about choking. That's not in the back of my head. Like, ooh, I could choke and die. Like that's not a thing for me.
I do. I have since. What I say? I've conquered my phobia.
Well, what is your phobia?
Mm,
That's the reason why I brought this up so we could
yeah.
discuss our own phobias.
So it's called colrophobia, and it is a fear of clowns.
Oh yeah, you don't like clowns.
I do not. I'm not a fan.
When Dad was a clown for your birthday that one time.
No, he dressed up like a duck.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were scared of the duck though.
I was scared of the duck too. Well, there's a 6-foot duck coming towards me, trying to hug me.
But the fact of the matter is,
I think that's pretty rational.
shout out to Dad because your birthday is in August.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, I think August is the hottest month of the year. Maybe July is the hottest month, but it's the second hottest month
August
of the year.
Pretty damn hot, especially in Southern Virginia.
In Southern Virginia, and he put on that duck costume. And wait a minute, the dad had the bald head. He at least had the top part of his head was bald.
Yes.
So he was sweating. He did that for your birthday. It was a whole birthday party being thrown for you. So shout out for Dad to jumping in the duck costume. He had to be like, it's me. It's me.
No, Mom ended up pulling me out of the room. It was Mom ended up pulling me out of the room and being like, "It's just your dad." And I was like, "Oh," because I was in tears.
Yeah,
it was horrifying. It was horrifying. I'm 5 years old. It's my 5th birthday, and
was it your 5th birthday?
It was my 5th birthday, and we had it at the actual. It was at the preschool. He came and
I remember it being at the preschool.
Mm-hmm. It was my 5th birthday, and a 6-foot tall white duck comes waddling in the room, making a beeline toward me. I don't know what's going on. Okay. To this day, I think he doesn't admit that it was him in the costume. He still says it was a coworker.
This is the same man that still said he wrestled Hulk Hogan in high school, and I was just like, Dad, no, you didn't. But like, no, you didn't. But okay.
And then cut to we find a picture of it. But I have a fear of clowns, and I've been working on conquering that fear. Mm-hmm. If a clown walked into the room right now, would I scream bloody murder? Yes.
So you ain't never gonna watch it.
I did watch it finally as an adult.
The old school one or the new one?
The old one. I haven't watched the old one. And the only reason I watched the old one is because it's Tim Curry is playing Pennywise the Clown. And I just kept reminding myself this Tim Curry. It's Tim Curry. It's Tim Curry. And so I was able to get through it. And then by the time the Pennywise becomes the giant spider, it's not scary anymore. If you haven't seen it, and I just spoilered it for you, I don't know. It's the movie's like 30 years old. I don't know what to tell you.
Uh, but I wouldn't be scared of anything else except for that last part.
The spider. Yeah.
But I don't have arachnophobia because I'm not scared of all spiders. It's just the big hairy ones.
Yeah. They're not great.
Mm-mm.
They're not great. But they say that you develop this because usually as a small child, because you're just learning how people's faces should look. And of course, a clown looks very different from other people. So it can distort that distortion can cause chlorophobia. So that's
I wonder if does that have a direct correlation with eyesight as well? Because not everybody develops that, right?
that's true.
So
I had bad eyesight.
you had bad
Yeah.
eyesight, so maybe that was distorted and then it scared you because it's a talking blob of something coming at you as opposed to what you normally see. I wonder if we need to do some case studies on that.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I remember the moment. I was probably about 4 or 5,
Mhm.
and we went to like the carnival or the something was in town, and we went, and there was a clown making balloon animals, and Mom was like, "You want one? Go, ask him for one." So I went up to him, and you gotta understand, I'm little, and I'm looking up at this man, and he's looking down at me. You want a balloon? Like, I'm sure it was much more. I'm sure it was not as horrifying as I remember it. I'm
Right.
sure he was like, "You want a balloon?" Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure it was probably like, but in my mind, what I saw was this horrible creature looking down at me. You want a balloon? Like, and I just remember going, "Oh no!" And I just backed up. And that was it. That was the end of it. Nobody knows about this. This is the first time that I am saying this publicly, and I know there's going to be some jackass out there that's going to be like, "Jonna's scared of clowns. Let's mess with her." You're not. I'm never gonna. I won't ever show it. You won't ever know. You won't ever know. Internally, I'll be dying, but you won't ever know externally.
Yeah, I don't know that I knew that growing up that you were afraid of clowns because I definitely would have exploited that.
Yeah, and then I would have thrown a spider at you.
Yeah. Well, where are you going to get your hands on the spider that I'm actually afraid of?
Yeah, but I would have found one. I'm just letting you know.
All you
And
would have did was
I don't have a fear of spiders. I would hold a tarantula and I would put a tarantula in your bed if you ever.
all you would have to do is find Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
For those people that don't know Sydney, and
They
this is the
wouldn't
reason.
know.
Of course, nobody out here would know who Sydney would know. Yeah, nobody knows who Sydney is. Sydney was a gigantic, it's probably the size of my hand, gigantic rubber spider. It was a rubber black spider that was to mimic a tarantula. It's the reason why I'm afraid to death of spiders.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Dad had this rubber spider. You got to remember, my dad's a kid.
Yeah.
Literally, like he was a young man when I was 5 years old. He was 26 or 27. He's a kid.
Yeah.
So he's tormenting me with this rubber spider, but he's trying to teach me not to be scared of it. But by teaching me not to be scared of it, he only made me more scared of it. Like one time he put it in my bed when I was asleep. It had one blue eye, one red eye. It was rubber. It was missing some legs. If you put that thing in front of me right now, I would still be scared to death of it.
Yeah.
One time I remember going through my dad's dresser, probably looking for some aftershave because that was my cologne when I was 12 or 13 years old. And I pulled the dresser back and saw it. I thought he had thrown it out. I wanted to go pick it up and throw it in the trash, but I was just too scared of it. The shock and the fear that it put in my heart. I hate Sydney. And that's the reason why I got a fear of tarantulas. My dad gave me that fear. You gave me a lot of positive things, but you gave me my fear of big hairy spiders, and it's the reason why I'll never go to Australia.
I think a lot of people have this phobia, nomophobia, which is a fear of being without your mobile phone. I think a lot of people have that because we have such an addiction to our cell phones that I'm constantly like, where is my phone?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never on me. I never have it, but I'm always looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I have any phobias. That's a lie. Because I just thought of it. I'm afraid of pitch black darkness.
Are you? Don't you have to
Yes.
sleep in complete darkness?
No. I cannot sleep in complete darkness.
Oh, I have to. It's got to be
Unless
dark.
unless somebody is sleeping with me.
Okay.
Then I can. But if it's just me by myself, even if crypto is laying by my side or
Yeah.
on the side of the bed, can't be complete darkness. No. I have basically a nightlight. I've had a nightlight for years.
I don't. It's just the clown thing, and it's such an obscure phobia um that I really don't have any other. It's like rodents and spiders, bugs don't bother me. Dark closed spaces don't bother me. Heights, none of that stuff. I'm not afraid of any of that stuff. It's just this one specific.
Yeah, the clowns.
Boy, I just don't like them. I just don't like them. I don't really. And I embarrassed myself one time. I was at a family reunion for somebody I was dating, and they brought in a clown for the kids, and it was the worst kind. It was a hobo clown. And I said, nope, no. I got up and I just walked right out of the room. And I had to call somebody because I was hyperventilating, and I was like, I just heard the little, and I said, "Oh, ooh, just making that sound scared the shit out of me." Just making that sound scared the hell out of me. No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Here's something. Unlike the spiders, where they're insect spiders, I'm not afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of snake. Any type of snake.
You don't like snakes?
No, definitely afraid. It could be a
Oh,
garden snake.
I used to want a snake when I was younger, but I knew mom wouldn't let me get it.
I probably pushed mom into not agreeing to that. No, one of my friends just sent me a picture that he had a 4-foot black rat snake that was
Ooh.
just climbing the trees and moseying in his lawn, and I was like, "Oh, I'm never coming to your house." Like, no,
You can literally just step on a snake. Like you don't have
not a
to.
4-foot long rat snake.
Well, you could just take a shovel and just boom.
No, I'm not messing with no
Because
snakes.
I have snakes in my yard.
Yeah, so you know they can get in your house, right?
They don't. Every spring I have the guy that does my lawn. He comes and he sprays for the snakes. But yeah, there's
Oh,
snakes.
well,
I live in the woods.
that
Snakes.
means they can get in your basement. If they can get in your basement, they can get in your house. Guess I'm never coming to visit you ever again.
There's also spiders in my house, but I mean, there's no
But they're not the
tarantulas.
big, yeah, they're not the big hairy kind. They're
Yeah,
the little kind I can stomp on. The big
yeah.
hairy kind,
You could
no,
stomp on a snake.
nah. Well, no. I'm not messing with no snakes. So that's what I'm definitely afraid of. But on that note, Jay, what do you want to say to the people out there?
Hey, if you find out somebody got a fear of something, leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? Like phobias are a real thing. Like we're talking about it and we're making light of it and things like that. But phobias are a real thing. You just know there's some butthole out there.
Asshole.
Yeah, there's some asshole out there. I feel like butthole for some reason has more gravitas to it than asshole. Like
Butthole just means something totally different
it just
when you're describing it.
the amount of force I put on the B. Some butthole, like there's gonna be some butthole out there that want to mess with you, and I'm like, everybody's afraid of something. What if I mess with you about the thing you're afraid of? Like, leave people alone when they open up and they're vulnerable, and I know somebody's gonna mess with me about this clown thing.
Yeah,
And
somebody is.
yeah, and I'm just like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I will lose a friendship over that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't. I'm not playing. I'm not saying I don't like clowns. I'm saying I have a phobia.
Mhm.
So if you mess with me, I will literally chuck the deuces and put my pointer finger down. Like, don't. Okay, and I will never speak to you again. So just be prepared. Just prepare yourself for that. Y'all want to text me a picture of a clown or something like that? Prepare yourself to never hear from me again. Don't mess with people and their phobias. Leave people alone. Stop being jerks. Come on, it's 2023. We're not doing this.
Yeah, somebody's still gonna do it.
Yeah, they
But
still gonna do it. And guess what? I had one less person in my life.
hey, you know us. We'll cut you out in a minute. We don't really, look. That comes from moving around all the time. We'll cut you out.
We'll cut you out.
We'll cut you out.
Cut you up, cut you out.
Yeah,
cut you up and cut you right on out.
As my Uncle Kenny used to say, sniper, not a literal sniper, but just sniper, take you out.
Take you right out.
You out of the life. But on that note, thank you for all the positive feedback on the last episode. Thank you for continuing to watch and listen. And until next time, I'll holla.
Thank you for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and donate. Donations help us keep giving you this free content each and every week. Until next time, out at 5,000. Peace.
Freedom over fame, the cycle stays the same. Freedom over fame.